tax day, in case anybody forgot that. Although it's been extended to the 17th now, right, of May?
Yep.
Yes.
Which is good because I kind of sort of need that. Okay, and Joe, we will not use the link that you just sent until we get down to item 10 on the agenda.
That is correct, yes.
Very good. Thank you very much. And Joe, thank you very much for all the hard work you put in the last couple of weeks, as well as Michael as well. Because obviously, I'm not quite sure where I was, but it wasn't here. So, all right. All right, so let's get started. And with the first order of business that's up, we have minutes to accept from the March 18th meeting. Is that correct? Or the March 25th meeting? There's two of them on here.
Yeah, one of them was the special meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So there should be two, because we didn't go over the minutes from the 18th and the 25th.
Okay, so we can just ignore that for now?
Yes. Well, no, I mean, we should.
We could approve both of them or
We
vote
should
on
go
both.
over both of them.
I don't have a copy of either one of them.
I thought they were sent out.
He
Yeah,
did.
they were sent out.
Mark sent them out, but I don't have them open in front of me. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
okay.
Yeah. So has anybody read through both of those and have any corrections, amendments?
I have a couple corrections.
Okay.
Um,
The floor is yours. Rock and roll.
On the March 18th, 2021 minutes I'm looking at, under staff, we should have after Paul Alexander, comma, golf pro, it should be a semicolon, not a comma. Under Mark Gardner, controller, it should also be a semicolon. Under others, when we get to Audrey Kazarin, it should be after Oak Hills Park Nature Advisory Committee, there should be a semicolon. After the call to order at the very end of the paragraph, it should not be a comma, we should have a period there. Then on page 2, under public comment, in the third row down, Mr. Wren's name is spelled incorrectly. We should have a second N there. And then under superintendent's report on page 3, where we said Mr. Shell said there is also an additional 1990 needed to fix the fascia boards. There should be a comma between the 1 and the 9 in the 1990. And that is all I have for that set of minutes.
Let me jump in then for the March 18th minutes. I have one note on the 4th page on finance and controllers report. 5 line down says $203,000. The words over budget should be inserted after that. So it should read $203,000 over budget and $240,000. That's all I have.
So I have a question. It's probably stupid, but I'm going to ask it anyway. When we go through and make these changes to minutes that's already been written up, who makes the amendments to the minutes that are being pointed out?
The secretarial service, Telesco, in tonight's minutes, these adjustments or amendments will be listed under, what is it? Point number 2 for acceptance. So it never goes back and nothing's ever refreshed in the original minutes, but the amendments are noted in the meeting where the minutes are approved.
Okay, and then where is that posted, the changes?
It'll be in the minutes for this meeting. So in the April minutes, it will reference March adjustments to the minutes from March.
And those are posted on the city website?
Mhm.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Good to know, good to know. All right, so anything else on the 18th?
Not that I have.
Okay. So moving along to the 25th.
The 25th, I have one small adjustment under attendance in Jennifer's last name. It should be a capital A instead of a small a for McAllister. And that was all I had for the 25th, unless when it says return to public session and vote on food and beverage contract specifics, they didn't say anything. Did we want like our reasoning that Mike added when we came back to the public session, added a little summary before we officially took the vote?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. It sounded, I mean, it looks strange. I mean, I did come out of executive session and at least give an overview as to why we were moving forward with it. Then there's no language at all.
Yeah, there's no explanation. So do we want them to add like the explanation from the tape as to why we did what we did?
Even though I wasn't here, I would say yes.
Yeah, I think it needs to be.
So that was my only other suggestion on that one.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a record as to why the session was what it was and whatever the vote count was and whatever pertinent comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we have to make a motion to approve as amended? Well, I guess we can't
do.
for the 25th.
We need a motion to approve both. Let's do them both at the same time for expediency of time. So let's have a motion from the floor to amend the minutes that have been discussed here in this session, both for the 18th and for the 25th. Do we have somebody that wants to make a motion to accept these?
I'll make a motion.
Is that you, Michael, that did that?
Yep.
Okay, let the record show that Mike DePalma made the motion. I don't think we need a second, do we? Do we need a second?
Second.
All
I
right,
think we did.
all right, all in favor of accepting them, let's just do it by a voice vote of aye.
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 Sounds like a majority. Any nays? No nays, any abstentions? No abstentions. So let the record show that the changes, amendments to the minutes for the 18th and the 25th as of this date on the 15th at 6:14 PM stand approved. Okay. Moving along. Larry, I think it said, you said you were on, right, tonight? Are there any public comments? Anybody waiting?
I see one hand raised.
Okay,
Um,
let's let them in and have them identify themselves. They have 3 minutes of public comment.
okay.
Just state your name and your address and we come on.
Yes, please do.
Joe, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. So, my name is Joe, obviously. I'm an up and coming rapper. If you guys want to follow me, that would be great.
All right.
Okay, I guess that was that was a
So is that your comment, Joe? You are promoting yourself and you want us to follow you, or is there something else?
I unmuted him. You want to hear that?
I just want to be clear. That's all.
I can unmute him, but I unmuted I muted him. I don't think it's a serious comment.
Okay, very good then. Sounds like a plan. All right, so we had one comment, no more waiting in the wings.
We got a couple of people, but no one with their hands up.
Oh, okay. So last call for public comment. We're told there's a couple of people with their hands up, but it doesn't look like they're moving forward. So if you have something you would like to say, we're very interested in hearing it. If not, we're going to move along in the agenda. Are we good to move forward, Larry?
Yeah, there's nobody with their hands up.
Okay, sounds good. Can you see that, Mike? I don't see that.
Yeah, if you go to participants and then you see there's 3 people there and nobody has their hand up.
Well, normally I'm able to see participants, but for some reason this evening, that answer is No. So, but that's okay, as long as somebody else is in control. I do not want to be in control right now. Trust me. Okay, so let's move along to the fourth item on the agenda, which is we want to welcome Donald, who's joined us this evening. I asked him to join us tonight from a standpoint of giving us an update, answering any questions that you may or may not have that maybe you still have out there, and for Don to talk about, from what I understand, there's been some nice work already started and moving along, being completed, and we're starting to see at the end of the tunnel, Don, a potential opening date. Is that correct?
Opening date for the restaurant, I'm hoping for June 1st is kind of the goal.
Okay.
We're still in the process of waiting on permits and liquor license stuff to get the halfway house open. My goal was May 1st, and I'm still hopeful for that. I
Okay.
have a person that helps push through those permitting and liquor permits for me, but it'll come down to how quickly we can get the halfway house up to code. We had it sheetrocked, I believe, last weekend, and Paul and Jim both have helped kind of push us along with helping getting people in there that are bartering with us.
Okay.
So we got somebody to do the sheetrock that's going to barter with us on food and golf. So it's not going to cost us any money out of hand. And then we're in the process of, Paul has a couple of guys that we can reach out to do the taping. I believe that's going to be done this weekend. Paul, I forget the name, the guy you said, but you said the guy was coming in Saturday, I believe.
Fred Festo plays a lot of golf here, well-known gentleman from Norwalk with his wife as well.
Yeah, and I think he, and again,
Sorry, but when you say taping here, I'm not a contractor, so you're talking about taping the sheetrock?
yeah, so you sheetrock it and then you got to tape it, and then you kind of, it's kind of like the putty or paste or whatever the hell they use. I'm not a contractor either, but
Joint compound, and you have
Yeah,
to
compound.
basically hide all the seams, so you just put tape over it and then joint
Right.
compound and hide the seams.
yeah, and then we throw some paint up there, and we should be good to go. The grill that's in there, I think, will be functional. I'm just going to get BTU in there to kind of make sure that it does work. I think it's just missing knobs, and I'm
Is
hoping
that little flat grill with no knobs on it?
Yep.
Okay.
If that works, we'll be in business because we're not going to need a hot dog roller or any of that stuff that's missing anyway. And we'll just do all the hot dogs and burgers, and we have the other stuff that we need in there. I already have, so we don't have to spend any money up there. I have refrigerators that I'm donating from dry dock that are in my basement that I'm not using, so I'm going to bring those up there. I have an extra fryer that we're going to put in the kitchen. And then if that grill is working, we should be good to go. And we have a warmer that we're going to use for like sausage and peppers and meatballs, all quick sell items, so we don't hold up anybody on the golf course. You know, our goal is to just do hamburgers, hot dogs, wraps, pre-made wraps, meatball parm, and a sausage and pepper wedge, and then drinks to get in and out, and just hopefully just have those be quick sells so people aren't congregating there, and it just come off 9, get their food, and just tee off on 10.
Great. Keep them moving.
Exactly. We are having an issue with the beer cart at first, finding one, which was crazy. But Paul Schwab, who's the car rep for all Connecticut and in this area, found us a used cart, and I'm going to buy that personally. We got it for a good price, and he was going to pick it up this week. I reached out to him a couple times. I haven't heard back from him on text. Paul, have you talked to him at all by any chance?
I've been texting him a little bit.
Yeah, he's in respond. I reached out to him and said he was possibly picking it up Tuesday or Wednesday. So the cart that he found looked like it was a pretty nice one, and it wasn't too expensive. So I'm just going to purchase that on my own.
Good.
And I'm hoping, again, as long as the permits, if we get the halfway house going, the only thing I'm worried about is when we do these permitting stuff for the liquor license, they ask about construction.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm worried that the construction of the restaurant's going to hold up the liquor permits. But I have a call in with my liquor rep after this call to go over all that stuff. I'm hoping that we can do it piecemeal, and hopefully they allow us leeway on getting us a liquor license to get the halfway house and the beer cart going. And then hopefully once the restaurant opens, we can do some kind of contingency where they can come in and check again and make sure everything's up to code and everything's up to par. And
Great.
so hopefully they can give us a temporary liquor license to get us moving, at least for the halfway house and the beer cart.
Well, up until 2 weeks ago, I was very concerned about the liquor license, but that's now been taken out of my diet.
Yeah, I mean, I've been moving this stuff along back. I started doing all this stuff in March and started kind of just pushing this along. So
Yep.
the only concern I had was that halfway house, because with the exposed wires and everything that we had in there, I know for a fact that it wouldn't have gotten approved.
No, maybe for a haunted house at Halloween, but not for what we wanted for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know the long-term goal is to kind of do something with the bathrooms and help fix those. And I think if we fix up the current bathrooms we have, at least pretty them up with new fixtures and stuff like that, I think that'll get us through at least this year. And then we can come up with a plan to do some kind of renovation or something on the bathrooms. But at least we get the halfway house going and some revenue coming in.
Well, that would make a lot of people heroes if we can fix those bathrooms.
Yeah. And again,
They've been pretty disgusting for a long time.
yeah, maybe we could just put a fix on them, or, you know, a Band-Aid on those for now. Until we can, you know, find a better way to service them and make them look a little nicer. But I think we fix them up with some fixtures and just update some of the stuff that's in there. It's probably a low cost fix at this point, just to kind of pretty them up a little bit.
And stop the water from running on the floor and other things.
Yeah. But again, that's something we definitely want to address in the future.
Well, you know, this is probably a good time to say, and you know, we've had this conversation numerous times. This is not run in and do a quick fix. Let's get open and start for business. This is really thought processing out, laying out a much better facility, much better experience for our patrons. And this is really building for a 10-year future at this golf course.
Agreed.
Because that's really, there hasn't been anything really done to the golf course for so many years, probably 10, that it's really needed. And so now we have the opportunity with a provider and somebody who knows what they're doing and good staff with Jim and Paul and Mark and, you know, good board that understands what's going on, that we can really do something here and move this bad boy forward. So I'm very, very optimistic about all of that.
And I want to go through some of the stuff. Did everybody get the Excel spreadsheet that I kind of sent right before the meeting?
Hang on a second. Let me open it up and I can probably share that.
Because I want to just kind of go through.
I
some
can't
of the
share.
stuff.
Larry can share. I can't share.
I would just suggest for that spreadsheet, I think we should all take a look at it and then kind of look at it offline.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Instead of
Just spread it around.
It's just new, and so we're not, you know, I think we should take a look at it, and then obviously it's gonna be something we're gonna address in a public forum, but I think we should all get a minute to just digest it a little bit.
I'm
Sure.
quite confident, Michael, you have it committed to memory already.
Got it
Mike,
all down to the penny.
Mike, I did not get a copy of that.
I could forward it over to you.
So it's an email that from Don that was sent at
Came
6
from
PM.
Don.
Rayanne, you are
Hang on,
on.
Ray, and I'll find it and forward it to you.
I'm looking to,
To that.
Yeah, it was, again, like, this stuff is on, a lot of the stuff on there we had, just to give you guys an update on what we have done so far. I had BTU. Now, BTU is one of our local machine maintenance people. They're one of the top ones in the area. They do all the repair work and stuff that I use for them at Dry Dock. And they go through, they fix the equipment, they you know, service it on a yearly basis. I've had them go through the restaurant already because they are familiar with it. They have been servicing it for the last 10 years as it is. And they went through and fixed all the stuff we needed to fix. So the kitchen is pretty much ready to go in terms of to operate the kitchen once, you know, the restaurant stuff is done.
And it's
I
clean.
think one of the things we got to do, one of the reasons why I want to, you know, just digest a little bit, is because we got to figure, so all of that stuff were repairs that come out of a separate budget, and then there's capital improvements. So I think we'll loop you in, Mark, obviously, as we look through this, you know, list of potential projects, which ones are capital improvements, which one of them were you know, we needed to get it up to code, and then we kind of split it up that way. Does that make sense, Joe and Mark? I mean, I think that's the next step, and then we go through and we're gonna have to vote on anything capital improvements I believe we're going to talk about later. I don't know if it's over 5,000 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
but this is awesome. This is perfect. This is exactly what I know I was looking for. Real quick, can we get Mark, Don and Oak Hill's email, or should he set up? I just think it'd be easier if Don had a separate email for the general manager role, so that when an email comes in like this, it's just separate.
Yeah, we can check with one-to-one marketing. They gave us email addresses. So let me make a note and I'll send a note tomorrow.
Gives you another inbox to look at, Don. I know you're thrilled about that, but it just,
No, it's fine. It actually helps. That's a good suggestion because it actually helps me because, getting bombarded with Silvermine and Dry Dock, I have it separated anyway because I hired a GM to help me with all this stuff because I already with Oak Hills, just to give you guys an update, I probably get 2 or 3 calls or requests a day almost now for parties.
Yeah, I think momentum is really well received since.
And that's a good thing.
It is. It's a great thing. It just makes me a little nervous with the timelines. A lot of these, I tell anybody that's April, May, like it's going to be a no-go probably, or definitely April. And one of the Blind Rhino is doing something, I think at the end of May, but with them, they go off-site anyway, back to their restaurant.
Right.
I told them that we could probably do the beer cart and all that stuff to have all that going. So I'm pretty optimistic with that.
You made me think of something. Paul, have you coordinated with Don on the outings that we have that's been on the books? That I know we're signed up. Some of them are coming up in June, July, August, that everybody's on the same page knowing what's coming down the pipe.
They've definitely been very interested to talk to him. So anyone who was interested, I just forwarded his email and I'm sure they've got in touch with him. Also, I don't know if Don knows, but we do have a Google Drive that you can access and it has all the outing information on it. And I'll send you an invite to that if you're not on that already.
Yeah, please do. Those are great.
Yeah,
So the fire department's coming up next month, right? Isn't theirs mid-May?
They were supposed to be June 7th and they had to cancel. I think we got them a date later in the year.
Right.
And
I just got an invite for May 17th, so hopefully.
Oh yeah, that's it. They moved to early May.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Don, real quick, back to BTU. Did they fix everything, including the coolant lines, the fridge and freezer, all the issues?
John, the owner, is supposed to call me because that's exactly the question I asked too, because I knew they were in there 2 days going through everything because my buddy Anthony works for them. I believe that was what they were doing, was fixing that coolant line.
This is without the jackhammering the floor.
Right. And that was one of the because my question was to him, was it cheaper to buy new equipment versus doing what he needed to do? And the difference was about almost $7,000 to buy equipment. Would have been more expensive. So I believe it covered all that, Mark, but I'm still waiting on a call back from the actual owner of the company.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perhaps when you get that, Don, if Mark, it probably falls in your wheelhouse. If you share it with Mark, and Mark, if you could just then let us all know, that'd be good.
Got it.
Unless it puts too much on you, and if it does, speak up, and we'll handle it a different way.
No, it's in conjunction with what Joe will probably talk about with the capital appropriations. I'm prepared. I'm not going to send every time I get something, but once a week, I'm happy to share all new information. So not a problem.
That would be good.
Great.
That would be good. All right. Anything else with Don? Don, anything else before we move on to Paul?
No, it's on my end. I mean, like I said, anything you guys want to know in terms of that estimate stuff that I put together for you guys. Again, all that stuff is stuff that I've researched and tried to find the most cost-effective solutions to them without going too cheap where we're just replacing it every couple of years. The ice machine that's in there and all the stuff that's in that, the equipment stuff in there. I just want to put this out there too, that we're going to need. Like, for example, a pizza oven. Right now, there's no pizza oven up there. But just for understanding food industry, pizzas have one of the lowest food costs of any item you can put on a menu, because again, it's just flour, water, and yeast basically, and then your toppings. So, and I think having a pizza oven up at a golf course like that, especially with a family environment, is just a no-brainer. in terms of,
What,
I'm sorry?
Is Don going to be going into executive session with us?
No,
does anybody know what happened to the pizza oven?
Other than it stopped working?
Was there a pizza oven up there? Because there was not.
Yes,
there's not
there
one of the-
was.
I
Really?
didn't see one in the 1 year I've been going there.
No, I know, they make a lot of pizzas.
I think
Yeah,
they were
that's
using like
hard to believe.
I think they were using that convection oven though, with like the bricks.
No, they had the real deal pizza oven with the wide doors that open flat like a dishwasher door.
Really?
They had them. Yeah. They just
Was it-
disappeared, huh?
Jim, was it that piece of equipment as you look at the big stove that was to the left of the big stove?
Yeah, I think it was pretty much all the way to the left of the back line.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think when you walk in the dock door, it was right there on the right.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, that I- that I
But the
don't-
one comment I just wanted to make was all that equipment stuff can be financed. It doesn't have to be bought right off the bat. We can finance that through, you know, these online restaurant stores. You know, you can finance them over 3 to 5 years. So it doesn't have to be an outlay if that's down a road we want to go down.
Okay,
It just, again, from a cash flow standpoint, if we need to do that, that's an option. That's kind of why I researched on the sites that I use for the other restaurants.
mhm.
The ice machine is going to be a big ticket item that has to be bought. Like the pizza station doesn't have to be bought this year. Like we can go without a pizza station. It's not a big deal. But the ice machine is something, the current ice machine is completely and utterly shot. It's rusting out the back, so you can't even use the bin, those bins are like $2,000, believe it or not. So we can't even use the bin because it's rotted in the back, and the health department won't even let that go through the code. And it's leaking on the compressors and all that, and it's not worth fixing. It's from what the guy at BTU said. You said you're better off buying a brand new one. And the only problem, the reason with these ice machines being so expensive is because to facilitate all the ice that we're going to need for the whole course, along with the halfway house, the beer cart, and on premise, you're looking at a 1,500-pound machine, which Babar, I'm sure, could tell you those things are not cheap.
Is that one machine would cover all the ice needs that you need for the entire course?
Correct. Right. That's why it's so big. Like if you got a smaller one with like a 500-pound capacity, that would service basically maybe the restaurant. But I'm anticipating that once we're done with everything, we're going to have a pretty busy restaurant. So 500 pounds will go through very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's the capacity it holds. That's not, once you use it, that's how much it'll go through in a 24-hour period. So when you say capacity, that's how much the ice machine will create over a 24-hour period.
So just to be clear, that would provide ice for the restaurant, the beverage cart, and the halfway house.
Correct.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to buy an ice machine for the halfway house and you can just do everything right out of one location.
Yeah. Well, and things have to be really iced down in that beverage cart, particularly with food and
Yep.
as hot as it gets. So, okay, I leave that to you. And I think as far as finances go on that, that's really a conversation between you, Mark, and Joe. And Joe, you can keep us informed, and I trust your opinion on what you decide to do. So
It would probably be good to sit down and have it, or these days on the phone, we can just have a conversation as we're getting into our budgeting for next year as well. Definitely, we'd want to kind of have an understanding of what we should purchase, what we should finance. And just so you know, Don, we do currently finance some of the larger maintenance equipment that Jim gets. So it's something we do, and when it makes sense, it makes sense. So yeah, we'll all talk.
Okay.
Mark, can any of those companies be used since we have a relationship with them, or would that be totally?
It doesn't really work like that so much. It's Jim contracts with the seller, who then uses a financing company. So, like we have a lot through Wells Fargo, but we don't necessarily have a contact there. We just simply, the seller goes through Wells Fargo to finance with us. I do have a couple of names that we can maybe try to reach out with, but it's not necessarily, it may not work.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Like cable guy says, we'll just get her done. Done. Okay. Somebody asked a question about executive session. Was that you, Babar?
I was just wondering if Don would go into executive session with us.
At this stage of the game, to be very honest, I don't see a need for that this evening. But we can think about it, and if somebody disagrees with that, speak up.
But
What
we
I
can
would like
discuss
to,
it at
what
a
I
later
would like
time.
to move on to is to Paul, because like I said, it's 6:30. And the executive session actually is item 10. And so in my clock, I've got about 59 minutes left. So I would like to be, by the way, is Darius on this call? I don't think so, is he?
Yes.
Oh, he is. Good, because I didn't see him. Hi, Darius.
Hi, how are you? How are you feeling?
Good, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Great. I'm on the call. I'm just double zooming right now.
Double zooming, you multitasker, you.
Cheater.
Okay, fantastic. By the way, the only thing that Babar requests is that when we do the pizzas, there's got to be pepperoni on them. I will not complete the sentence that he gave me about pepperoni and pizza, but it was rather colorful. So anyway, all right. So let's move along. Paul, are you ready to go and talk to us about golf operations?
Sure.
It's all yours.
Okay, thank you. So I've been back about 5 weeks now. The weather's been great, and we've really done a lot before a lot of the golfers have shown up. We had our greens, I think, open on the 12th of April, our carts a few days after that. So, and the weather's been pretty good. It's been definitely very busy. This weekend, we have a completely full tee sheet on both days.
Wow.
I don't even think we can get a single out, and I anticipate this going on for a while.
Do you have snow tires on the golf carts?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So things are really looking good for Oak Hills Park, and I'm amazed how many people have moved to this area and just how many new golfers we're getting here. So I think it's going to be strong well into the future here. In the golf shop, we have trained 3 good new staff members who are highly computer proficient, and we have 2 other cart staff members this year. We're almost back to full staff. We have 1 longtime Oak Hills employee, hasn't been back yet from Florida, but he'll be here soon. We've had a couple issues with our tee sheet, our EasyLink system. There's some glitches. A couple of mistakes were made over the winter, but I had James Henderson, one of our old staff members who's great with computers. He came in and really helped us for 5 nights in a row, pretty much from 5 to about 9 o'clock at night. So he was highly helpful there. I'm bringing in a new teaching professional, I think next week. He's an old friend of mine. He's highly experienced, nice guy, and he really knows what he's doing. So even if I was to be out there all day, every day, there's still more of a need for somebody else, because it's just, there's so many people who want to learn how to play golf, and lots of clinics and mini groups and junior golf and just lots of new golfers. Let's see. We've also outfitted our staff this year with some nice jackets, and we have some new shirts, and everybody's commenting on how good they look, and you can pick out our employees. People have questions. So that helps our communication with the customers. And we've had 2 people in the golf shop a lot now, and so we're answering lots of phone calls, and we're just giving them really good customer service. We're trying to call people back within 24 hours. And phone system, still a little bit of a glitch here and there, but we're definitely working on that. We're almost there. Our Wi-Fi has been upgraded all around the clubhouse and down to the first tee, which is very helpful for our new cart fleet. We started lessons and clinics already. Our new 68 carts are really beautiful, fabulous. People love them.
They are nice.
Yeah, we made some dividers. They were fairly expensive last year, but we made them in-house, saved us a lot of money. So we have had no complaints really, whether COVID, social distancing, this, that. We're giving our golfers a lot of options here if they like to remain safe under the COVID. And we are still following all the Connecticut state rules and obligations for as far as COVID goes. We did get a nice new industrial power washer for our new golf carts, and it has a boom like a car wash. So we're going to really keep these things looking great, and it should last a couple years. Pretty soon we're going to bring in some tempo walkers, just 4 of them. And they're just basically a motorized electric cart that's very small. You just put your clubs on it, put a little kind of a cell phone in your pocket. It'll just follow you all around the golf course. So those are kind of fun, new in history, and everybody really loves them. And again, we're just going to upgrade all our rental sets, get some new stuff coming in. Our golf shop here and the First Tee has been offering our customers food, drink, coffee, some snacks, just to keep them happy until we get food beverage operation going. If anyone hasn't seen them yet, go look at our new bathrooms on the First Tee. They're fabulous. They're really nice. What a big difference. I think one of the biggest improvements we made over the winter. Want to thank Bill Stenger, our staff member, for doing that, and Joe Ballantoni, who also works for us. Our golf shop is almost fully stocked here. At the moment, we have $64,972 worth of merchandise in here, so we're looking pretty good.
Good.
And I'm sitting here now, it's a little dark. We have 10 lights out. So I also have another old staff member who's an electrician. He was in here a little bit, and he's going to try to help us update our lighting in the golf shop, which is always good for selling merchandise. And
Are those electrical issues or are those bulbs burned out?
he thought it was the bulbs. It's really the ballast. So the bulbs be a cheap repair. The ballast a little more expensive. You might be able to bypass them. So he's going to look into that for us. He's also kind of putting in a few new lights and at a nominal cost, even bartering us for
Sorry to interrupt, but I believe that we have fire code people coming out and looking. So I would wait on doing any of that.
Oh, we haven't done anything yet. He's just
okay until
the
fire code people sign off on everything.
Sure, absolutely. I had a golf shop burn years ago. I don't want that to happen again.
Nah, that's not a good idea.
No. I can't tell you how helpful one-to-one marketing's been. I've probably reached out to them well over 100 times. So our website's continually getting updated, modernized. I'm basically putting all the policies of Oak Hills on there. And, one of my jobs here is just to have people follow the policies that are in print, and they've been there a long time. Nothing really new there.
Yeah. I do like the fact that you've been putting notes out when tee times are available.
Yep, you're gonna see another one tomorrow, and people have thanked us for that. So obviously, good communication's really important of any business, especially when we have, thousands of customers like this. We're also making the old golf shop look good now. We made an investment in that roof. We're just gonna clean it up, do a little painting in there, and just kind of make it clean so we can decide what else to do with it. You'll notice a beautiful new Connecticut state flag flying below our American flag down there, which is a nice improvement.
We're gonna wedge a Texas flag in between the two.
Yeah, the Yankees up here wouldn't like that, but anyway, we've started 2 events already for the Oak Hills Men's Golf Association and our Oak Hills Women's Golf Association 18-holers start on the 21st. Our Oak Hills Women's Golf Association 9-holers start on the 28th. I'm starting at Oak Hills Junior Golf Association, and I have some new hats, shirts, and collared shirts coming, and they're going to be called the Acorns.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And we've also started our PJ Junior League, and we're going to be playing against Country Club in New Canaan, Silver Mine, Shore Haven, and hopefully a challenge match with Country Club at Darien. We played last year, and my good friends at Rolling Hills Country Club. We've also booked 18 outings, well over $100,000 worth of revenue coming in for just the golf and carts alone. We have 4 leagues booked, and we have 3 other outside golf events booked. And other than that, we're going to try to get a couple interns in. They could help numerous places here, inside and outside at Oak Hills. And other than that, I think it's just going to be a great year because we have just a lot of interest in Oak Hills Park and a lot of new people moving here. And I believe as far as our annual passes go, we had 85 roughly last year. Half those people didn't renew for 2021, but we got 40 new people, I believe, who are new annual pass holders. So there's a lot of new golfers. And
so are the passes sold out now?
We just sold them for January, February. Sold 64, and I think that's about 21 less golfers, and our income was up about 30,000 less golfers.
Great.
And then this will be a good year. We see how it goes with the annual pass holders and their availability at tee times, and it'll be a good benchmark year to decide what we want to do going forward.
And is the website, I don't know if it's been, I haven't seen it, but
have we updated with Don's information, like a bio or an introduction of sort? Is that something
myself here? I think I'd put something on there, but we're gonna probably put a little more.
like
Yeah,
a picture, an introduction? Once he gets his official email address, that would be nice.
yeah, let's do that. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I'd like to take the same thing that we're gonna put on the website and turn that into a press release. Darius, I'll talk to you about that.
Sounds good.
Because we need that pub. The other thing that I was thinking about on the website, you were mentioning it, Paul, our current 2021 COVID regulations and rules, are they posted on the website?
No, I think we could just take something from the Connecticut State Golf Association and just add a link.
Okay.
Maybe a new header there that says COVID.
Okay.
guidelines.
As long as we got something that tells people what we expect of them, that would be good.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Okay. Well, you're busy. That sounds good. Sounds very good. Tournaments. Have we given thought to any that are just totally indigenous to Oak Hills?
As far as outside events coming in,
No, us putting on something.
well, I would say we have a really completely full schedule. There's hardly any events. I think what we will do
That's
is
fine.
the existing events that we have, we're just gonna tie it in with our food and beverage, and once they play golf, have them come in for some
Okay.
food.
So, I mean, obviously what I'm skirting around here, I mean, every year we've always done something with the city, you know, the mayor's tournament, this or that. I know we talked about having like a city tournament and open, something along those lines. I'm probably mispronouncing what it's called. But I just wondered if we've given any more thought to that.
I think we could definitely do something in September when we had the mayor's trophy. We can call it whatever you want, but it just might be a nice day to bring out some of the dignitaries from Norwalk and showcase the course and let everybody know, you know, how good Jim Shell is. And, you know, the one event I wanted to have, and we could do this well, it's just really called the Norwalk City Amateur. And you're basically just trying to find out who the best player in Norwalk is.
That's what I was going for. Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
And you know, I spoke with Rayanne 2 weeks ago, and we discussed possibly putting together a meeting with the marketing team and the golf committee so that we can figure out how we can get something together, especially with Don.
Good. Good.
I think you guys should include probably Jerry or somebody from the supporters of Oak Hills, because they're directly tied into that as well.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I was looking to see, Jerry's not on this call, is he?
Yes, he is.
Jerry is on this call. There he is. See, I'm flying blind. I think I'm in Apollo 10. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, we should definitely, though, just plan some sort of event, because by then, in mid-September, you know, the golf course is in great shape, and we'll have the food and beverage operation, everything running at full bore, and that'd just be a great time.
And it gives us time to really plan it out and do it the way that, you know, we're capable to do it. I mean, we've got, I don't mean this derogatory to anybody, but I think we've got such an upgraded group right now, from appointed members to employees and so on and so forth, that a lot of things that maybe we struggled with in the past, we can get done a lot easier on all of us. And it doesn't fall on just one person's shoulders. In the past, that's kind of what happened. It fell on one person to take care of everything. And it's an insurmountable task. So, okay, cool. Anything else, Paul? Is that it?
I think that's it.
All right, Mr. Wizard. That'd be Jim.
Oh, hey. So I don't have too much to report. I've been real busy, obviously. Spring is our busiest time. We're prepping the course and getting all the preventative measures going out there.
You look like you're on Walton's Mountain with that stuff behind you.
This is my beautiful maintenance facility. I'm sitting outside right now, and it's so beautiful. There's still light on it. So
gorgeous.
Everything's well on the course. We're getting a lot of little projects done, like, edging bunkers isn't exactly a little project, especially since we didn't do any of it last year. But we're getting that done. We have a few more to do, but it will be done. And hopefully we can keep it up for, you know, an indefinite amount of time. We're filling and seeding stumps. So we're looking good, and everybody that golfs anyway should really get ready for the spring flush, because it's about to happen, and it's going to make the course a little longer.
Really?
Oh yeah. Long rough.
Okay.
Long rough, of course.
Appreciate that.
I don't know if any of you have been following the tree saga here, but but it's been a real PETA, so to speak. But we got some good news today. There's going to be potentially 8 nursery stock trees donated and planted for Arbor Day.
Fantastic.
Yeah, with a small ceremony that's going to take place with the mayor and some others up at the Great Lawn. And 2 of those will be planted at the Great Lawn. There's going to be 3 behind 15 Green. So we're going to start screening the White House from, you know, the green, the tee, the road. Instead of spending the money to fix up the house, let's just plant some trees and hide it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So we're going to have 2 oaks to replace some trees that were removed along 11. A red maple to fill in a space between 8 and 9. And some dead trees along Philo Street behind 14 Green, which have grown into the fence. The fence has been pulled down, and those are going to get cut down. They're dead. Most of them are dead now. So the city's going to help us out, cut those down, and 3 of the 8 are going to be replanted there. I'm going to leave the choice up to the city, since it's a tree by the highway and it's under the power lines. Let's let them decide which one's got to go there. That's
Sounds
technically
like a smart move.
Yeah. But any case, once this is done, that fence is going to need some serious refurbishment, possibly even replacement. I got a couple calls in to fence companies. Nobody's been responding very well these days. I don't get it. I guess they're allergic to money.
Yeah, I think they're busy.
But you know, there's a few people that have helped out a lot with this whole tree situation, and I think it's worth to mention. Darius has helped. He helped temper my temper the other day in a meeting, and you know, we've got Anthony Carr, the superintendent of public, or no, he's the public works director.
DPW.
Chris Torrey helped out.
Tree warden.
Paul Sotnick, who's an engineer with the city. He somehow finagled this whole 8-tree deal here.
That's
two
great.
of which are actually coming from Eversource as a replacement for the 8, including the shrubs that they're going to plant there.
Do those trees come with solar panels?
Not likely.
Oh,
darn it.
But there might be a windmill.
Great idea.
Hey, Jim, based on the comments on our last meeting and and I apologize because I don't know the name of the society, but some of them were concerned about the trees being taken down and nobody was partnering with them, and they've asked to partner go forward. Have we reached out to them? Have we worked with them to let them know we're getting these trees and to see if they had any thoughts as well?
They know.
Okay, perfect.
A couple of them were there today. Anthony Carr, Chris Torrey, Paul Sotnick, and a couple of the tree warriors had stopped by, and we had a little quick meeting about where these trees are going to go. And they're fully aware of what's going on, and you know, it's a kind of a temporary holding off the war, so to speak.
Audrey, you've been involved in this, right?
Who?
Audrey.
Is she here?
Are you on the call?
No, she's not on the call.
What?
Audrey had that event. Audrey had that event with the Norwalk Historical Society for Earth Day.
She's representing Oak Hills, so she's still
Yeah,
doing
has-
Oak Hills work tonight.
So in this meeting she's representing Oak Hills.
Correct, yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, but we had a great Meeting on Monday, I believe it was. Myself, Jim, Lisa Shanahan from the council, as well as George Siernidis from the council, Chris Torrey, the tree warden, as well as the others that Jim mentioned. And I think that we had a very productive meeting. I think everyone came at it from different angles, but we were able to move forward and have a very constructive dialogue.
I want to pass along kudos to you. I heard some very good things about you in that meeting.
So thank you. I think that we are all working hard, and I commend Jim for working with us and putting in everything.
All right. Good,
So,
good.
okay, and the last thing I want to discuss, it actually is not going to be as much of a discussion as I thought. I just want to touch on the cart path construction we're going to do this fall. I'm going to reach out to Sharon Connors tomorrow to see if she can give me some insight on how to deal with this bid bond thing, because I don't know much about it. And maybe she can tell me whether it's necessary or not. I mean, maybe the size of the job doesn't warrant it. You know, anything can happen there. I think otherwise I'll submit to her what I've written so far as an invitation, a request for proposals from contractors, and she can make any suggestions she wants. I'll gladly accept them. And
Sounds like a good idea. I would help you if I could, but I have no knowledge of this.
right. And you know, it's going to be a learning process here, and I'll be ready next time.
Great. Good job.
All right. I think that's it for me.
Did you want to touch on the greens that you and I talked about the other day?
They're pretty much fully recovered already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quicker than you thought.
Yes.
Excellent. Oh, by the way, are you still looking for people?
Absolutely.
Workers?
Yes.
All right, let me throw this out to the group. I had a meeting with some people today talking about this because it's very, very difficult right now to find people to work.
Yep.
Particularly hourly workers. And some of you on this call know more about it than I do. But somebody suggested that we reach out to the Carver Center to see if there's anybody there that may be looking for work or that the center wants to put forward to have interviewed and talk about getting some, per diem work and that sort of thing. Does anybody know anything about that? Any thoughts, any ideas? Because I don't.
What is the Carver Center?
It is a center. It's a center that's in South Norwalk.
A nonprofit.
That's nonprofit that helps underprivileged. And if I speak wrong here, Darius, please correct me. But it helps a lot of underprivileged children and kids get things done that otherwise wouldn't get done, and makes them aware of things that otherwise they wouldn't be aware of.
Okay.
Is that fair, Darius, to say that?
Yeah, close enough.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't want to say anything that's wrong.
Oh no. The Carver Center is, I think, one of the oldest nonprofits in Norwalk that works with
Exactly.
the
And I think
Norwalk
it's
public
totally
school system.
underutilized by everybody in town. And I really think we've probably underutilized it.
Yes,
So
I think we could do some great work in partnership with them.
Yeah, I do too. Okay. So let's put that on an agenda for you and I to touch base on and have a quick conversation on, if that's okay with you.
Sounds good.
Okay, fantastic. I will have to depend on you to help me remember it.
Oh, I was counting on you for that. Okay.
Look, I'll compare the scar on my head to yours and let's see.
Hey, Darius and Carl, if you guys want me to sit with you guys with that too, I mean, I can offer some opportunities to work in the restaurants as well. I think
that would be great, Don.
I think that's a great, I
awesome.
think it's a great program and outreach.
Yeah, Don, and Don, thank you for helping me out trying to find guys to come on my crew. That's although it hasn't happened yet, it's a big help regardless.
Yeah, I just blasted out for both you and Paul, just to, put it out there on my Facebook page as well. And hopefully, with all three of us together, we can find help for the golf course and just, because these college kids coming home are all looking for work.
Yep.
Right.
And hopefully we find some freshmen or people that can work for us for the next 4 years. So yeah,
Exactly.
we know.
I have not put anything publicly out there, but quietly, pardon me. Part of what I get is a little hiccup now and then. I've not put anything publicly out there, but quietly I've spoken to some people, and it's crickets. I mean, it's really kind of interesting. It's crickets, but we'll find people.
Yeah,
And I think, Jim,
we're getting close to critical time, though.
yes, we are. What I started to say is I think we should use you more, either on the website or elsewhere, talking about you and your background and what the advantage would be for some of these folks that would come to work there that would be able to work under your experience. So I think that's a selling point.
Okay.
I think that's a huge selling point. So, okay. All right. Anything else? I'm sorry.
Is there a job listings thing on the website or no? Like job openings at the park, whichever department they might be in.
That's a really good question, and I don't think so, but there should be.
I have one on Indeed. I have one on Craigslist, and it's funny. When I posted the ad on Craigslist, I have a certain amount per hour plus, depending on a person's experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it on there, and an hour later I go and find it, and 3 ads down, there's a private course in Westchester, close to the Connecticut border, offering $4.50 more per hour to start.
Private course.
So which ad are you gonna call?
Yeah, private course. Sure.
Yeah. Well, $4.50 in that price range, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
So
you're looking
it's
at
tough.
over $32 a day extra money. So I know it's tough, but we'll do it.
Yep.
We're all behind you. We'll all do it. Anybody we run into, we should be asking those questions, whether they're, just casual conversation or more than casual conversation. Because I mean, I do that for clients of mine and other things anyway. So,
right.
And if I can get a little more info on you, which I should have, but I don't, and I apologize. I can also start fishing in the LinkedIn pages, because I can do that on a very targeted regional basis. So, good stuff. Anything else, Jimbo?
I'll add a section on the website that might just say employment.
Absolutely.
That's a good idea.
I'll
That's a
just
good
put
idea.
Oak Hill
In all
Park
departments, we're
always
looking
for people interested in working and doing a good job at Oak Hills.
Yep. I totally agree.
And could we post anything at the community college or something that would be?
I see no reason why not.
Yeah.
Does anybody know that, and I know this is another dumb question, but I'm allowed to ask dumb questions tonight. Do we know, like Norwalk Community College and that sort of thing, are there classes offered there that could lead to the kind of industry that we're all in and we're talking about here? Because those are people we really should reach out to.
I think there's culinary.
Okay.
But as far as, turf science, I doubt it.
No, there's gardening, but that's
Different.
Casual.
Our garden's a little big.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, as a kind of a point of personal privilege, I think we're getting pretty deep into the weeds on staffing right now. If we can move on, that would be,
We
I
are.
would really appreciate it.
And we need to move on so we can move into the executive session. So you're always a good timekeeper, and thank you, Jeff. All right, so are we done? We ready to move on to Mark? Mark, you ready to talk to us?
I'm ready to go.
Rock and roll.
All right. I'll start like always with a few general notes. The detailed fiscal year 2022 budget process has begun, although it's still in the beginning stages. And again, heads up to Jim and Paul. I'll be sending you stuff and working with you very shortly on that. The month-end close took a little longer than usual for a few reasons this month, but I should wrap up March by tomorrow and get back to the budget for next week. Also, just a note about our current financial stability. I think everyone already knows this, or at least most people do. Every March, we owe 20 to 25% of our annual business insurance premium for the upcoming year because it begins and ends on March 1st. And they always do basically 3 months up front, and then the last 2 months we don't pay anything. So it's always a tough bill to pay since it's in the tail end of our off season when our cash is at the lowest. In fact, I think this one, most of you know, last year we didn't even have enough money to pay the bill despite borrowing the full $200,000 from our line of credit. This year, I didn't even blink. I didn't even notice that I paid it. It was nothing. So it's nice. It's a nice feeling to finally have accomplished so much in regard to building our cash up. And I'll move into.
Congratulations to you for the help on that, by the way.
Well, thank you, but it's definitely, I mean, I didn't bring any money in myself, but yeah, I like to safeguard it. But no, thanks to everyone, obviously to Jim and Paul and to the board, especially the executive committee for everything on getting to where we are. It's really nice to be there.
Yep.
Preliminary financial activity for the month of March. Again, for the note taker, I just want to make sure that this stress that this March is not finalized yet. Cash is up $237,000 over March of 2020, while at the same time we're $190,000 lower on our line of credit borrowing. So net, we are $427,000 higher than last year, cash in bank. Cash is also up $250,000 over current year budget. So and when we made the budget, we were already experiencing some of this cash. So it's really nice standpoint right now. We've made $70,000 in debt payments to the city to date for this fiscal year. And March golf activity, as I'm sure Paul and Jim can tell you, it can vary based on weather. You know, you can have, I think it was 2018, we had 4 nor'easters versus last year where the weather in March was spring from March 1st onward. So that can really dictate where you're going to be for the month. And the second half of the month, the weather turned. It really helped to drive strong rounds for the month, especially once carts open for the season. I think we had the most rounds since March 2016, which is the best year that we had prior to current.
You're saying we had the most rounds this March since 2016?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And the first half of the month was not that impressive. So it really was the last two to 3 weeks of the month was really.
Do you have a back of the envelope number of what that means in revenue?
Yeah. So for the month of March, our greens fees were just under $44,000. Budgeted was $18,000. That's what we were expecting.
Okay.
And prior year, it's unfair to compare to prior year because last year we would have had probably better than this year. But as I'm sure you know very well, Carl, on March 16th, we closed business down due to COVID for the rest of the month and the rest of April. So last year was kind of got a bum rap. And also, the discount ID card sales for the month, I didn't research this, so I don't want to make this official, but it could be a record. It was phenomenal sales and has brought us much closer to budgets. For the last 2 months, I've been saying, our discount ID card sales were lacking compared to budget because of timing. And, most golfers renew when they come in to play for the first time.
Right.
And last year they had come in January, February, because the weather was so warm. This year it wasn't really happening, especially with February, the whole month was basically closed with snow. So once people started renewing, I mean, I've never seen a month like this in ID card sales. So very, very good. Fantastic. And as to Paul's point, there are, because I process only the online stuff, so I'm only seeing a sliver of it, but I'm seeing a lot of new members, which is very nice. Yeah.
And have we prepared something marketing wise for new members to acknowledge that they're new members and thanking them for finding us, and if they love us this much, recommend it to other people that they play with, and so on and so forth?
Not to that extent, but I do have to hand it to Paul. He really did a good job. We already had kind of just a little instruction pamphlet to give to everyone when they're a new member on how to book online and how the card works. And he added a really nice couple of paragraphs there, welcoming them to the course and offering his name and number to anyone who has questions. So great job, Paul.
Paul, can you share that with the board?
Sure.
Great.
I could read it to you right now if you like.
No, that's okay.
All right.
Not that I don't mean that to sound the way that sounded, but
I'll send you an email. I'll send it in the form.
yeah, thank you. What I'd like to do, Mark, are you finished?
Just one more quick sentence as this wrap up. With the year-to-date numbers from March, we're just about $250,000 over budget in our net operating income, and April is looking pretty good so far too. So we're on a good course, literally and figuratively.
And normally we'd be talking about borrowing money.
Yes.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Good job to everyone. That's what I said. I think we got a good group going here, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So Mark, if you're finished.
All done.
Jerry, sorry that you're in the middle of the pack here, but tell us what's going on with the supporters, if you don't mind. Jerry, are you on mute or where are you?
Having Brooke.
Hey, he sounds like he's out by the fountain. Hello, Jerry. I can't see if he's on mute or not, guys, because I can't.
Jerry, if you can hear me, you've got way too much background noise with something.
Yeah.
It sounds like a running stream or something.
Get out of the spa.
We can't hear your voice at all, Jerry.
I just clicked a button here. He's not on mute, so he's okay, but we're still not hearing you, Jerry. I see your hand moving. I see your lips moving, but don't hear you.
You're canceled till next week.
Yeah, there's something in your background noise that's really kind of doing you in there. You're not on mute because I can see your microphone.
Should we move on to the next point, and then if he gets up and running, we'll go back to Jerry?
Jennifer, you're too practical. I don't know what his thumbs are in the air now. I had a better chance of hearing Apollo 10 last night on a movie than I'm hearing you. Yes, I agree with Jennifer. Let's move on.
We can always.
But Audrey's not here. Who can pick up anything to give us a little insight on what's going on with the Nature Committee? I mean, Mark, you're on it. Darius, you're on it. I know you guys are doing stuff, so just a quick update would be good.
I have better than my own words. Audrey actually sent us her notes since she couldn't make it tonight. So
fantastic.
Yeah, I'll just read quickly here. Number one, tree removal and stewardship of park. Chris Torrey, the city's tree warden, met with the group, including Audrey and Larry Schwartz, Bill Wren, board member Darius, and two common council members, Lisa Shanahan and George, I'm not going to pronounce that.
Serenities. He's a councilman for District G.
Thank you.
Not that I would know that.
There's currently a moratorium / halt on tree removal at the park by order of the tree warden. We discussed stewardship planning to come forward for the park that will favor native plantings with regard for wildlife and environmental health. Darius mentioned the revisions to the park's master plan moving forward right now. Chris visited the nature center of the park after the meeting and has offered DPW help in improving the exit from the nature trails, as well as cutting invasive plants during the summer, which edge and are encroaching on the Great Lawn area.
Okay.
Number two, meadow, planning for planting in late May in the Great Lawn area. Third is the kiosk, still to be installed. And fourth is,
about that one.
Jim, do you have an update on that? Is that something that we're
The holes are in. We just got to engineer the structure and put the concrete in, and we're set.
Fantastic. I also am going to be sharing with you guys, hopefully before this week is over. I have a suggestion that I want to hear from you guys about what to name the meadow.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody will disagree with it, but I want to let you know. Okay, sorry, Mark.
All right, and lastly,
Sounds good.
no, it's okay. Last point is the Norwalk Walker program. Julia Green from Norwalk Health Department met Audrey, Larry, and two neighbors for a recording walk video of the walking path in the Great Lawn area. The video will be posted on the Health Department and Bike/Walk Commission websites and Facebook, etc., to acquaint the community with this and other walking routes throughout the city that are in the Norwalk Walker program.
Okay, good.
And that's it on nature.
Fantastic. All right, so old business, new business, and what I really have under there is to discuss, well, actually Mark did, thank you, discuss new capital appropriations procedures. Joe, that's what you want to discuss, is that right?
Sure, we can go over that.
Let's do it.
Do we, it looks like we've lost Jerry, so we won't try to go back to him.
Yeah, I think Jerry's module exploded.
It sounded like it was about to take off. Let me share my screen. I don't know why I can do it, but it's giving me the option.
Good.
And is everyone seeing?
Yes, we are.
Documents?
Well, I am
Yep.
anyway.
Yep.
Okay, well, one is enough for me. So, I mean, I think this was distributed, I believe yesterday. Idea is we now are in the very pleasant position of having the ability to really spend capital expense on real capital projects, which has not been the case for several years. And so we want to come up with some rules about how that actually gets done. I'll go over the plain English version. The idea is we want to be able to be agile and actually deploy the money that needs to be deployed. We want to be able to respond to emergencies. And so we want to leverage the executive committee to approve certain things with certain limits and transparency as well. And then above those limits, we would go to the overall authority for approvals. So the idea would be, as always, no change to the fact, I'm going through the plain English version now, as I've called it here. As always, the Oak Hills Park Authority would set the capital expense budget. The Finance Committee, and namely Mark, really goes through and creates a capital expense budget with which the authority approves, hopefully in May or June this year. The park managers, so the employees, namely Don, Jim, Paul, Mark, would create a list of capital projects. And the executive committee would edit, send it back, say, hey, we want this looked at differently, and ultimately would approve that list of capital projects. We would disclose that, of course, to the group when it's done. And then we get into some of the limits, right? Any projects that are greater than, expected to be greater than 10,000 would require 3 bids unless in an emergency. Like it just would be impractical if there was water pouring in or something on fire to wait for 3 bids, right? We would need to just do it. And then the executive committee would select from those 3 bids, or if we're not happy with them, request further bids. The GM would review and approve work orders, and the controller still has the responsibility for actually dispersing the funds, paying the bills to vendors. Overall, the authority would have to approve going over the capital expense budget. So in the event that we set a capital expense budget of $90,000 to deploy across the park, if projects and other things cause it to go to 91,000, well, that expense would not be approved by anyone other than the full authority. So we would have to get the 9 of us together and talk and get 5 of us to agree. Third from the bottom in that section, the executive committee would be able to approve any individual expense that's greater than 50% of the approved capital expense budget. The executive committee would have to be notified as soon as it's done of any expense that exceeds 10% of the capital expense budget. And for everything else, weekly updates, I believe we discussed on Thursdays would come through to the executive committee. We could actually, you know what, in hindsight, those updates could go to the entire authority. There's no need for it to just be the executive committee. There's a more detailed kind of quote unquote legalese version also included in the document. But I think this is something that we should enact. You know, I like it as proposed, but I'm happy to kind of field any questions if folks have had a chance to review it. We don't particularly need it to be in right away, but I think it would be good if people like it enough to go forward with this. And if we find it needs tweaks along the way, it's a policy, right? It's not something that we need, you know, anybody's approval but our own. We just need to agree that this is how we're going to do things. And if we want to tweak it in the future, we can.
Sounds good. I have 2 quick points. One is that I don't see any reason why today is Thursday, if everybody else is okay with this, that we could all take a look at this and make any comments back to Joe. I don't know that I would write all over this or try to edit it, but just in a quick comment under plain English or detailed or whatever, let Joe know what your thoughts are, what you may agree or disagree with. The other thing is a point of clarification. A year or so ago, there seemed to be some confusion over who the executive committee is. Now you have it laid out here, chair, vice chair, and treasurer. That is it. It's not employees. It really is the 3 people elected to the offices of the park authority. So just so everybody's clear about that, because I had used in some communication a year ago those terminologies, and there was some confusion on it. So we shouldn't have that. So.
Yeah, and to be clear, Carl, I'm not writing that. You're not writing that. That's defined in our bylaws.
Correct. That is in the bylaws. That is correct.
Okay. And I think that's a fine path forward, Carl. If we want to take this back and give people more time to digest, we can engage in conversation over email. I'm happy to do that. So I'll start an email chain with, I'll send this out again.
Okay.
Folks we can discuss.
Okay. A week from today, is that plenty of time?
Sure.
Okay. Good job, as always, and very, very well put together and very well explained.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Let's see. Okay, so not any more old business or new business somebody wants to bring in here right now? Because I'm really, unfortunately, we're coming up on 90 minutes. Jerry's back. Jerry, can we hear you now? You are muted now. I can see your red microphone is muted.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Loud and clear?
Loud and clear, 5 by 5.
Well, I did the highly technical thing. I rebooted my computer.
That'll do it.
And then caught a Windows update.
So I love those.
All right.
Okay, so if you would move into your session, that'd be great. And then we can move along into the executive session, which I have some comments to make before we click on that link on a couple of things. So.
Okay, we changed the meeting of the supporters to the week before this meeting. Okay, so that should be good. I should have current news.
Okay.
We've added our own Facebook page is up. Okay, and just have to go through exactly how we're going to use it. So we're working on that. I think Paul, we have to get together with Paul and figure out how many of the underprivileged kids that we're going to have in those classes and how much they're going to be this summer, so that we can put a figure on, our budget.
Okay.
Available money.
Excellent.
Okay, so other than that, that's about it.
That's a lot.
All right, I'll give you a call because I got some just other stuff, that I want to talk to you about.
Okay, tomorrow would be good.
All right, talk to you then.
Okay. All right. So moving along, I guess what we will do here, so I'm clear, I don't want to screw this up. I see that Jeffrey also sent out, I believe, I know that Joe sent out a link to go to the exec session. I believe that Jeffrey did too, but I'm going to go with Joe's. So what do we do now? Just click on your link, Joe, and that'll take us right to the executive session Zoom?
Do we need a motion to go into executive session?
Oh, we do. I'm just trying to get the technical stuff.
You gotta leave this meeting first and then go, because you can't be in 2 Zoom meetings at once. So you gotta leave this one and then go to the link that Joe sent.
So how do we leave this meeting?
So this is Jeff.
leave
So this
button.
is Jeff. What you do when you go to that meeting, nothing's going to be happening yet because I have to use another computer. Just leave this meeting when you make the motion to go, and then I will start that. So when you go, if it's not started yet, don't worry. I have to go to another computer and click start because you can't be in 2 at once. And then I'll make someone else a co-host, and then I will leave, and then you can do your executive session. Leave that, and then come back to this one after.
So by clicking on this link, that will make us leave the current meeting and take us to the new meeting.
You can just leave. There should be a leave button at the bottom right.
Oh, that's right. At the bottom, there's a leave button.
Who was invited to this?
Well,
It's the authority members.
Okay.
Normally, it's the authority members.
Yep, no problem.
And not the public, but I would caution everybody that this has happened in the past. And this is a live meeting and it's being recorded. So I would say that we stay very professional, very focused, be cognizant of the fact that what you may or may not say could come back to haunt us all, and we don't want that. Rayanne has requested that we have this session. We have not spoken a lot about it, but we did correspond a little bit on the email about it. That's fine. So do I have a other?
Can I make a motion to go into executive session?
Who is this, Carver?
Yes.
Yes. So we have 2 people now that has motioned for an executive session. And we'll just do a straight vote. Are we in favor of that?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, and I for myself. I don't hear any, are there any negatives of going into executive session? I know we asked for what the topic is, and we'll get into that real quick. I mean, basically, it's to talk about a couple of personnel things that I'm going to make a comment on here before we start. But so that's really the reason. And Mike, if you want to elaborate on this, you can. You tend to speak a lot more than I do.
No, I think that's exactly right. I think it's all, we're going to just discuss some personnel issues, and this is the forum to do it, as an executive session. So
correct.
Somebody please remember to note the time and somebody email me the time when you guys get out of executive session, and then adjourn this meeting as well, so I could send that on to the note taker.
We will do that.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So from what I
Bye,
hear,
guys.
we have enough votes to go into executive session. I don't know who's talking in the background right now, but it's disturbing.
all right. Well, we can we'll leave and we'll join the other session then, right?
All right, so we're going to click on the link that Jeffrey told us to click on. That should take us, unless we jump in on somebody else's meeting, which is what happened once before, we can do this. So I'm leaving this meeting by hitting the little red leave button at the lower right-hand corner.
Yep. See you there.
And
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, for the record, came out at 8:08. Everybody.
All right. Good night, guys.
All right.